Welcome to Nova News 360. Today we have a disturbing story about an alleged officer assault during a traffic stop in Delaware. On June 29th, Nafini T. Coleman was allegedly assaulted by Newcastle County Police. Body camera footage shows Coleman being detained by 4 officers who can be seen punching her multiple times. Coleman spoke out during a press conference saying, "My hair was pulled up and down, my head was punched by a male and by a female, I have constant migraines." The footage shows the officer stepping out of his vehicle and asking Coleman to exit her car, explaining she was being arrested for multiple traffic violations and suspended registration. Coleman refused to exit her car and asked for a supervisor. The situation escalated when more officers arrived, and Coleman was forcibly removed from her vehicle. A female officer can be seen punching Coleman in the head area multiple times. One of the male officers also threw punches, claiming Coleman was holding his foot.
Coleman was charged with traffic violations, offensive touching of law enforcement, resisting arrest, and disorderly conduct. Her lawyer, Emeka Igwe, stated at the press conference, "There's a perception that when an officer encounters someone who may have an attitude or may be mouthy, they can retaliate with force or assault. That's not okay. As an officer, you're trained to be a professional. You're going to encounter people with mental health challenges." Coleman claims she has PTSD and anxiety, which contributed to her behavior during the traffic stop. The Newcastle County Police Department is conducting an administrative investigation and a use of force analysis. The Delaware Department of Justice is also reviewing the case. The incident has sparked outrage and calls for accountability, with community members demanding a thorough investigation and appropriate actions against the officers involved.
In police body camera footage released by the Newcastle County Police Department, an officer can be seen stepping out of his vehicle after he pulls Coleman over. He approaches Coleman's car and asks her to step out of the vehicle. The officer tells Coleman she was being arrested for multiple unsafe lane changes, not using a turn signal, and because her registration was suspended for no insurance. The body cam video shows Coleman refusing the officer's instructions to exit the car and asking for his supervisor. The officer then pulls her car door open. The two of them argue for a few minutes, with Coleman continuing to refuse to comply with instructions to exit her vehicle, until other officers arrive on the scene.
3 male officers can then be seen on body cam video, pulling Coleman out of her car and forcing her to the ground. A female officer is then seen arriving on the scene as the other 3 policemen struggle with Coleman on the ground. The female officer proceeds to punch Coleman in the head area multiple times. One of the male officers is also seen throwing punches in body camera video as he claims that Coleman is holding his foot. Coleman was eventually handcuffed and placed in a police vehicle. In addition to traffic violations, she was charged with 2 counts of offensive touching of law enforcement, 1 count of resisting arrest, and 1 count of disorderly conduct, according to Newcastle County Police. Emeka Igwe, Coleman's lawyer, said at Tuesday's press conference that his client had legitimate registration for her car at the time of the incident.
"I do think there is a perception out there that when an officer approaches someone who may have an attitude or may be mouthy, that they can then do whatever, whether retaliate with force or assault," Igwe said. "That's not okay. As an officer, you're trained to be a professional. You're going to encounter people with mental health challenges." Coleman claimed at the press conference that she has post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and her anxiety and PTSD were contributing reasons for her verbally aggressive behavior during the traffic stop.
The Newcastle County Division of Police Professional Standards Unit is conducting an administrative investigation to determine whether the officer's actions were within policy. Additionally, the division's Use of Force Review Unit is conducting a use of force analysis, including a detailed video examination. Finally, the incident was referred to the Delaware Department of Justice, Office of Civil Rights and Public Trust. These investigations and reviews are still ongoing. The Delaware Department of Justice, Office of Civil Rights and Public Trust, nor the Newcastle County Attorney's Office did not immediately respond to ABC News requests for comment. The Newcastle County Police Department declined to comment when ABC News asked if any of the officers involved with Coleman's arrest have been disciplined.
Stay informed with Nova News 360 for top news from the past 24 hours. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications on our latest videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.